So, welcome you guys to Steph and Cat Talk Wow, brought to you by the Hardy Wrestling Podcast and In Cat We Trust. Of course, I'm your girl, Stephanie Hardy, host and creator of HWP and all of those other shows, and Steph and Cat Talk Wow. And I'm here with Katrina, my tag team partner in crime, creator of In Cat We Trust. And we are here with two incredibly special guests. We are here with one of our favorite WoW superheroes, a WoW OG and a very accomplished women's champion in her own right, Santana Garrett. And we're
Hello.
here with the man who makes it all happen. He is the co owner of WoW Superheroes and just a wrestling extraordinaire with an incredible wrestling mind. He is David McLane. How are you both today?
Well,
Two
I
thumbs
am a
up.
words of affirmation girl, so I am just grinning from ear to ear. It's so wonderful to be on with you two.
Absolutely. We are honored to have you both, especially during this point in time in our history where women's wrestling is, of course, taking off in a brand new way. We are just so honored to have you. So, Santana and David, this question could go to you both. When did you both fall in love with wrestling?
And Tanner, you go ahead.
Okay. So I grew up as a fan of wrestling, watching it with my dad, who was a professional wrestler. So I'm second generation, and I grew up with a lot of siblings. I've got seven siblings, and it was rare that any of us got one-on-one time with either of our parents. But for me, that's what professional wrestling was. I used to watch it with my dad, and that was our thing. I got to see him pursue his dream and becoming a professional wrestler, and then he got to see me pursue mine.
Now, Santana, so were you literally going to wrestling matches at what age? Seven,
Oh,
eight,
yeah, absolutely.
five?
Probably started at 7 years old, but watched it from a very young age, as long as I can remember. I mean, my mom would get so mad. My dad would send me to school in these, wrestling t-shirts, and then she'd want to put me in these floofy dresses with sleeves and a big bow on my head. And I loved wrestling. I loved it so much. But I went to a lot of shows growing up. I would help in any way I could, whether it was selling popcorn or tickets at the door or bringing the wrestlers, entrance jackets back to the back. I was just thrilled to be a part of it all.
So on one hand, you were the tomboy on the weekends, and then also you did cheer when you were in school. I know that.
Uh-huh, absolutely. I was kind of the best of both worlds. And I still am. If you know me in real life, like this weekend I went fishing. I went fishing. I was touching slimy fish, but I also, you know, I clean up nice.
Yes, love an all around woman. Love
That's
it.
right. That's right.
So Stephanie, same as Santana, I got in it as a kid. Probably first live event match, probably by the age of 13.
Okay, cool.
So my question, it's one for both of you, but I'm going to ask it at the same time. So one, you, Santana, you have been in quite a few locker rooms. I was very sad I missed you at Battle Club, because that's a local promotion for me to get to. Very, very sad that I couldn't be there for that. But what is something for you that you appreciate in particular about the WOW's women locker room? And for you, David, as you have been part of Glow and the first iteration of WOW, what is something that you as a creator, as a producer, can appreciate about the WOW locker room?
Well,
So
I'll
for
let Santana answer that first, since that was your first note.
Sure. So for me, WoW has always been something that is so unique and continues to be. It's an all women's wrestling promotion. WoW and David, gave me an opportunity. Not necessarily when nobody else believed in me, but I definitely didn't believe in myself yet. And WoW and David showed me that I was capable of great things. And so I owe a lot to WoW for my career. It's given me a platform to travel around the world to do what I love and what I'm so passionate about. And it's nowhere near from being over. So I'm excited to be back with WoW and excited to see what the future holds.
So Katrina, I have nothing to juxtapose it against. I haven't been in other women's locker rooms. So all I can say is I think the food we serve in the WoW locker room is great. Because if they ever leave any food after the show, I get down there and I have some of it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Catering is quite delicious.
Yes. Our catering's pretty darn good.
But you know what else, David? We're talking about catering. WoW takes such good care of the talent. It's not only providing good, nutritious food and drinks for everybody. It's you guys have a massage therapist, you've got a chiropractor, you've got doctors on hand, and like we are just really, really spoiled. And this is something you don't get at a lot of other places and a lot of other locker rooms. So it's a great company to work for, and anybody who's in WoW should be super grateful. I know I am.
Absolutely. So my next question is for Santana. You have mentioned, of course, earlier your father, TNT Kenny G, and how he
Yes.
inspired your wrestling career. And he's been mentioned on WoW programming quite a bit over the last couple of years. What would you say is the best lesson that he taught you in wrestling and also just in life, period?
I think I mean, my dad had all these one-liners, and if anybody was lucky enough to know him, he had a heart of gold. And from one spectrum, he was this super outgoing, crazy man, and then he was just, I mean, my rock, my biggest fan, and he instilled in me at a very young age to be kind. And that's why one of my mantras is kindness is my superpower. So that comes from him. And I just think about some of these silly sayings that he said, and one that stood out was what goes around comes around. So the more good that you put into the world, the better you are to people and to companies and to your career, the more that you're going to get back. And I'm a firm believer in that.
I love that. My question for both of you, we are in May or the end of May, but this is Mental Health Awareness Month, a month for me. One of my, we have like Women's History Month, yay, but also something I feel like is so important in wrestling, but in life in general, is just kind of taking care of yourself and have your mental well-being be on point. And so, what is something both of you do to kind of unplug, to recharge, to kind of take care of yourself?
Santana?
Sure. So for me, I am a words of affirmation type of girl, like I already said. So whether it's coming from somebody else or coming from myself, I walk by the mirror and I say, "Girl, you look good today," or "Get it, girl, you're doing great." Even when I'm not, the words we say are so powerful that in time you can't help but believe in them. So words of affirmation, self-love, all about it.
Anthony Robbins. Every year on my birthday, I grab a book of his, The Ultimate Power, but all of his books, and I read one every year. So Anthony Robbins, Power of Positive Thinking, all
Love it.
that is recharges your battery every year.
Great. That's really great. And I'm happy that Katrina even mentioned that because, taking care of yourself is important. And a part of that, in terms of taking care of yourself, is knowing that you can propel yourself forward into new goals. So, David, did you ever imagine that you would be at this point as a co founder of one of the largest wrestling promotions in the world at this stage when you first started in wrestling?
Well, when I first started, no, I was just happy to be selling photos and getting my ticket paid for when I would go to the matches in Indianapolis and covering the $5 to get in. And I had $5 at the end, and then $10, and then 20. And then all of a sudden I was going, holy smokes, I made $50 tonight. So no, not when I began, but I'm not where I want to be yet. And I don't think women's wrestling is either. And that's my passion. I want to see it continue to grow. My big goal is that WoW becomes live on television within the next year. By next year, I'd love to be on this show and say that today I told you we were going to go live. That's my goal for WoW. And I want to see women's wrestling grow in all of its divisions and capacities, whether that be from its heydays of being the most popular of wrestling in Japan to the luchadoras that participate in it, and of course, all the women that do in the U.S. across all 3 or 4 of the big leagues, which includes us.
I love that. I would love for you guys to be live. I feel like me and Steph, I think anybody who will listen, we're always like, you guys need to check out WoW just because it's something about wrestling, but something about an all women's locker room or women roster where it's just like, yay, we are seeing women be so like badass or doing what they do in different aspects and different boxes. They don't fit in a box, rather, that's what I want to say. And I love that. So fingers crossed we get that one in the year. I feel like we're going to be doing the most when it happens. I'm saying
Oh, we will.
manifest that when it happens. I feel like we're going to be so extra about it when it does happen. So my question, it's two separate questions. I got to ask it at the same time. For you, Santana, you have had quite the amount of opponents in WoW. Who has been your favorite so far to kind of step across from in the ring? And for you, David, is there any like women you would love to sign to WoW that you might have your eye on possibly near future or just like one of a dream signing for yourself for WoW?
So for me, if we're talking past WoW, Jungle Girl has always been an inspiration in and out of the ring. I respect her so much. She's incredible, absolutely incredible. And if we're talking current, as much as I hate to say it, Classmaster and Samantha Smart. I mean, they're entertaining. They are incredible at what they do. And as annoying it is to face them and constantly have that interference from Samantha Smart, they're very witty. They're very witty. They're very intelligent, and they most definitely give me a run for my money. And it pains me to say it, but it's got to be Classmaster and Smart.
In terms of that, you're going to get a shot, Santana. I got a feeling in the coming months to have that match against the Classmaster. So we'll see how that ends up. In terms of the question you asked, Katrina, whom would I have in WoW competing? One person it comes to my mind that's helped start WoW, because you mentioned earlier I started Glow. I'd love to have Cynthia Peretti. She's an African-American wrestler. She lived in Chicago. Her wrestling name was Princess Jasmine. She passed away of cancer. It'd be great to have her in WoW today to see it, because when I was starting Glow, I had a trainer that didn't work out, and I had to put together a pilot program to take to a television convention to showcase women's wrestling, to try to bring it to television. And I only had a little bit of a threshold of time to put it together. And I had to make a phone call about 11 o'clock at night from LA to Chicago. And I asked Cynthia, I said, hey, my trainer had to let him go. I need help. I've got a 3-week window here. Can you come out and assist me in training 12 performers to become what's going to become Glow? And she left her job, quit in Chicago, flew out on the next plane, and helped train a group of 9 to 12 women, which became Glow. So it'd be great to have her back and let her see how much this has grown in 40 some years.
That's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah. So my question to you, Santana, since you did mention facing off against the Classmaster, one person that we've seen that has gotten in your way, technically two people, has been Abilene Maverick and the brand new WoW superhero Paola the Colombian Goat Mayfield. Do you feel if it were not for Abilene Maverick's interference that you would be facing off against the Classmaster this weekend for the WoW World title?
Absolutely. And it's just like I can hear Abilene Maverick's voice right now, just that cringy Paola high pitch, like, oh, oh my God. But absolutely. I mean, it's smart on their part, really. Like, if you know you can't successfully beat someone, whether it's due to lack of experience or whatever the case may be, yeah, having someone who is experienced, a veteran in your corner is it's not a bad idea.
Stephanie, I saw you smile when Santana did that imitation
Oh,
of Abilene Maverick. I'd like to hear you do that. Can you screech that, Paola?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's
Come
so
on,
funny. I
Stephanie,
actually
let's
did
hear
this a
you
few
do
weeks
it.
ago. That's so crazy.
Stephanie, let's hear it.
Paola,
Here we there. One more time. I'm gonna shut
Paola.
up. There you go.
nailed it. Oh my
Oh
gosh,
my
so
God, that's
annoying.
so funny.
Katharina, can you do it? Can you do it?
I don't know if I can. I just know I always say Eveline is like the bane of my existence. Every time I'm I'm like she's always doing something. And so when it was mentioned, I did laugh, but I don't think I can do it. I feel like I'm like somebody who has to like love to hate her from afar. Like you're always doing nonsense. You're always engaging in nonsense, and well, every week it's always something with her. But I don't think I can do that. But that was really good stuff. I
Thank
can't
you.
do
Now, Stephanie and Katharina, you guys are fans of WoW. I got a question for you. WoW has the highest rated viewership of women of any professional wrestling show on television.
Mhm.
We have it. What attracts you guys to WoW Women of Wrestling?
Wow. No pun intended.
Right.
Uh, well, for me, it's just the passion that I have just for women's wrestling as a whole. Like growing up, like with Santana, I was watching wrestling with my father. And I would always wonder, why don't the women, fight like the men do? I would ask that question constantly, every week, every year. And the older I got, the love of wrestling still remained, but of course, in growing up around so many strong women in my life, I just wanted to see, women be as strong as I knew that they could be, in real life. And so seeing that translate into wrestling is so inspiring and it's just so wonderful. So to see a show like WoW be on television after seeing, of course, a few other promotions, sporadically show all women programming, I was just like, you know what? I really enjoy this. And I just really love the colorful way in which it's presented. It's not presented the same way as a lot of different other shows have been presented in the past. And it has like a history to it that just never ceases to be it just never ceases to not be interesting to me. Like I love the history of it. I loved watching the Glow show and finding out the history of it. So it just never stops being boring to me. It never ceases to amaze me. It's just so colorful and just so wonderful to see all of these women on this show on a consistent basis do such an amazing job. It's just inspiring. And I just want to see it grow. So that's what attracts me to it. It's just how colorful it is and just how amazing the women are.
Thank you. And Katharina,
As for me, I was watching wrestling with my grandmother. So she was a huge macho man, Randy Savage girl. She loved him, always was like yelling at the TV. And so for me, I grew up watching that kind of wrestling. And Shawn Michaels is what introduced me, got me like, oh my God, this is such larger than life stuff. But for like you guys, like we had women's wrestling, we had women over the years who have broke different boundaries or broke down doors or whatever it may be in different promotions. But wow, what I love, I feel like I said this every time I interview anybody from WoW, is I love that there's so many different type of characters. I feel like there's somebody for everybody. There's like the athlete. There's the, Foxy is like a rollerblade. I can't roller skate, but she can roller skate. You have the cheerleaders. You have the gymnasts. You have those who's just pounding ground. You have those who can fly off the top rope. Those who have a little bit of everything. You have a lucha, and I feel like no matter what kind of wrestling you like, somebody in WoW has that type of wrestling. And I think that's something that's sometimes so important. And even if we might not see one of the superheroes in 1 week, in like a week or two, we're going to see them again and they're going to pop back up. And you're like, oh, there they are. And it won't be like how some promotions you'll see somebody for a few months and then we don't see them again for like a year. Like, what happened to them? And I do think WoW does a really good job of like making sure we see everybody that's on the roster, but still having like really good storylines such as the twin versus twin. I'm a twin brother. And so You see, I'm like, oh my God, you kind of understand like sometimes getting in a disagreement with your twin or with your family. And I feel like having that aspect or having the again the lucha culture or having culture like Tiki where you're showing different parts of a person but still allowing them to be themselves, but also not in what's women wrestling the box. So that's why I enjoy WoW and why I tell people, well, you guys should check it out because hello, it's amazing to watch it. So that's my reason.
Yeah, and we're absolutely honored to be a part of, the revolution of saying, please watch WoW, because even in the past year we've seen the numbers of how many people get into WoW, even Black women as well. And we can't help but feel like we're a part of that, growth. So we're very honored to be a part of that. So it's great to have the opportunity to tell you both how honored we are to be a part of the revolution of saying, hey, watch this show because it's amazing. It's an hour of power, like you say, David, all the time, of women's power, girl power. And we're just really honored to be a part of it. So thank you for that
Well,
question. We
That's
don't.
amazing.
well, you should be proud, and you learned today. You mentioned the Black population of women watching WoW. You feel honored to be a part of that. Now, today, you just learned WoW's here today because of a Black woman from Chicago.
Absolutely, yes. That's even greater. And
Incredible.
just seeing women like Holodead, like the Fierce Sisters, and so many others that have come through. It is such an honor to watch them and just so many of the other women of different cultures being a part of the show too. So, I have a question for you, David. My question is, in seeing all of the promotions sort of cross pollinate with each other, like with WWE and TNA and so many other places, would you be open to working with other promotions in that regard to have WoW on a bigger platform in that way?
The first answer to the question very quickly is yes, because in Roku, we just announced a partnership where NWA programming and WOW programming will be together featured on Roku television. And that will be starting later this month. Roku is launching an all wrestling channel, the Wrestling Central channel. Paramount Global just put that together. And I think that's going to broaden WOW's reach. And I think traditional fans of NWA that love it from way back in the day with Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, etc., will now be exposed to WoW Women of Wrestling, and it'll grow. And I'm open to anything that will help grow WoW and the platform for women's wrestling. So yes.
As much as I want to ask another question, I feel like we're running really late on time for what Jillian said. So, can you tell everybody where they can find and follow you? Because they should be following you both, but tell everybody where they can find and follow you.
Santana?
For me, all my social media platforms across the board at Santana Garrett.
And for WoW, it's across the board at WoW Superheroes. And if you want to find out when WoW airs in your city, just go to WOW, that's WoW, E as in entertainment, wowe.com, and check out the website. You can get WoW gear, caps, t-shirts, hats, etc. And you can plug in your zip code and find out exactly when WoW airs in your marketplace. And then also, it's available on Vice TV every week. It's also available 24/7 on Pluto television and coming to you very soon this summer on Roku television. So WoW is the most exposed and available wrestling programming you'll find out there today.
Well, thank you, David McLane and Santana Garrett, for coming on Steph and Cat Talk. Wow, it has been such an honor to talk to you both. And Santana, good luck on your match this weekend
Thank
against
you.
Sylvia Sanchez, the lone bandita. And we just cannot wait to see how much further this show grows. So thank you both so much for sharing your time with us.
Absolutely. Thank
Thanks,
you. Appreciate
Stephanie.
you.
Thanks, Katerina. Keep
Thank
kicking
you
butt.
both.
Thank you so much.